Hi everyone, and congratulations on making it halfway through our course. You all did a great job in Module 2. And today I'm going to take a moment just to go through the expectations for Module 3. Before I do that, I wanted to take a moment and just acknowledge your hard work and collaboration and discussions for Module 2. In Module 2, we had the opportunity to really dive into a specific type of writing, informational writing. Now, of course, as it was discussed in the module, informational writing has many subtopics and text types within that as well. Some of the common topics of conversation included the importance of research, the steps it takes for effective research, and the reading comprehension that comes in before even drafting of an informational piece. You all had some great conversations about how to utilize a mentor text to teach how to effectively research. So analyzing our mentor text and noticing how our author groups information. What topics did my author use? What details and examples did my author use to demonstrate that they have a thorough understanding and deep knowledge of this topic? How did my author utilize text structure to organize their information effectively, and text features to help their reader understand the information? So it's an important differentiation when using a mentor text in informational writing versus using a text to research and find information. When I'm analyzing a mentor text, I'm analyzing that mentor text from the point of view of a writer. I'm analyzing the author's craft. What did my author do to present effective information, engaging information in a way that helped my reader to not only navigate the text, but to understand the content? So your mentor text might not even be on the same topic as the informational writing that your student is doing, and that's okay, because we're analyzing the author's craft, not the content itself. So I think that's an important differentiation. It was a good conversation that came up a few times in the course. You all also talked about persuasive writing and some different types and end products that we can create with informational writing. As always, the reading comprehension is an important piece. So teaching our students how we can effectively analyze a text, understand a text, pull out details, focused details from that text, and then turn that into our own writing. I will be looking at your assignments and getting those grades back to you as soon as possible. Now let's look at the Module 3, which is going to be focused on narrative writing. So in Module 3, you will utilize the use of mentor text, become an insider, and experience narrative writing yourself. And you will also teach a lesson to a student or group of students where the student produces a narrative writing draft. So there are a few changes here. You do have an assignment that is due on the last day of the module, and it will include a narrative craft-based lesson plan. But with that lesson plan, you will also actually teach the lesson. Now, I know that we are all in very different circumstances, different settings, different students. So whatever works best for your schedule in regards to whether you would like to work with one student, a small group of students, or a whole class of students is completely your choice. As you are writing this lesson and teaching this lesson, you will also have that insider experience. And what I mean by that is that you will be completing your own narrative writing as well. And you will be using your own narrative writing as a model for the students. This is important to create a model for students, but to also give yourself the experience that the students have to go through as well. To stop and think, what did I have to go through in my mind to help me narrow my topic, to help me organize my ideas, to help me come up with a draft of an experience? So becoming an insider and experiencing this is not only helpful to help create a model, but for also the way that you are implementing a lesson because you've had the experience as well. So we have our course objectives, and again, our module objectives, which again, you will develop a deeper understanding of the narrative writing techniques, analyze the value of becoming an insider and sharing in the writing process with students, and develop an understanding of the effective use of mentor texts, specifically in the brainstorming and drafting steps of the writing process. So that is where your lesson will be focused. At the end of your lesson, students should have a draft. It does not have to be beautiful and perfect, of course, but they should have gone through the brainstorming steps and then drafted a memoir, which you will be modeling for them. So you'll develop your own personal memoir as a part of this lesson plan. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to scroll down to our checklist. We have a version here, and we also have the downloadable printable checklist, for you to have if you would prefer that option. Once again, you will have a voice thread for week 1 and a voice thread for week 2. Initial responses for the voice thread are due by Wednesday, with follow-ups to your peers by Friday. Discussion forum for week 1 and separate for week 2. Once again, initial post due by Friday and follow-ups by Sunday of that week. Now, when you are thinking about your next 2 weeks, it's important to go ahead and try to think and plan, when will you be able to actually implement this lesson plan? Ideally, week 1 would be spent planning, diving into the actual content of the course reading, that first voice thread. And so starting to brainstorm your topic for your personal memoir writing, and then the lesson that you're going to implement with your students. Ideally, you'll start to write this lesson plan and teach it at some point in week 2. So by the end of week 2, you will turn in your lesson plan, which will include your draft of your personal memoir and whatever drafts you have from students. It is important that those get turned in because it is a part of your work in Module 3, and also because we will be using those drafts to revise in Module 4. So again, I want to make this very clear. It does not have to be perfect by any means. It is a draft. It is just those very first steps of brainstorming, narrowing our topic, and writing a personal narrative memoir with the students. With your personal memoirs, I'm going to go ahead and go down to my assignments. We're going to go down to assignment 3. Again, you can see here, you will submit your lesson plan of the lesson template, the draft of your personal memoir you use for modeling, so that we can use it for the collaborative revision experience in Module 4, and any student writing products. I'm going to go ahead and open up the template. So you can see it is very similar to our informational lesson plan, but there are a little bit more of the observational notes and reflection notes after teaching. So any observational notes from the lesson, any next steps and goals for the students based on the students' work at this point, what would you focus on next? And then reflection. So what did you learn about your students as writers from this lesson? What did you learn about writing instruction as a result of teaching the lesson? What strengths did the student demonstrate when planning and drafting? And what are your next steps for professional learning and your next steps for writing instruction with your students? So just a little bit more of that reflection piece, because you will have actually taught this lesson. In the voice thread for the modules, there are examples of the memoir. So there are actual examples from candidates who previously took this course and who wrote a personal memoir. So you can look at some of those. And that also includes a techniques log that is included in their memoir as well. Now, this is just a preview video, so I don't want to overload you with too many details. You'll get this as the content, as you dive into the content for this week, but I just wanted to mention these pieces. So as you're writing your personal memoir, a piece of that will be what we call the techniques log, which just shows what you included in your writing. So your technique could be an effective lead. And then when we get into our revising techniques, you'll add to that techniques log. Again, this is further described in your voice thread, and there are links to some examples of candidates who previously took this course, so you can see some of those examples as well. But I wanted just to give an overview so you knew what to look for and what to expect in this module, as they are a little bit different than our previous module. So again, thank you for all of your hard work. I look forward to your discussions and your feedback in this module, and I look forward to the experience of actually being able to come up with your own writing and to implement some of the pieces we've talked about with actual students as well. So as always, please feel free to email me at any time. We will have our synchronous meet on the second Tuesday of the module just to check in about things, about the assignment, how it's going. But at any point, you can always email me or post in the discussion board forum where it says to ask the professor a question. So thank you again, and I look forward to talking with you soon.